Hey
and then we can
everyone.
answer.
Welcome to the 2024 Reteti Elephant Sanctuary live stream. We're just going to wait for a few more people to hop on, but for everyone that's on time, thank you. I appreciate that very much. Um, we're just so excited to be welcoming like our global community to this really inspiring session with Katie, who is the Chief Conservation Officer of Sarara and the co-founder of Reteti. And then you have the entire Sarara Foundation leadership team here, or almost everyone. You've got Mike Smiles, Helene Mills, Amaya Varma, and myself. I'm Courtney Boyd-Myers, and I just joined as the Chief Growth Officer here. So just landed in Cape Town and heading back to Sarara for my second time in a couple weeks. And so excited. So we're going to be, taking Q&A throughout this entire experience here. So if you have questions, drop them in. Mike Smiles is going to be running Q&A, and we'll try to get all of your questions answered. And also, most importantly, thank you all for donating this year to Sarara Foundation and Reteti. This is purely a show of gratitude for all of you. We have invited everyone who donated this year to join us today. Yeah, really excited to have you all. And as I introduced her, but I will do it one more time in case we had some new people join, we have Katie Rowe here, who I believe is our generation's Jane Goodall. No big deal. She's the Chief Conservation Officer at Sarara Foundation and the co-founder of Reteti. Katie, please kick it off.
Hi guys, it is so wonderful to have you here. Welcome to the Reteti Elephant Sanctuary. We are on Namonyak Conservancy in northern Kenya, and we're really excited and we're grateful. So yeah, thank you for the introduction, Courtney. And a little bit about myself is that I have lived here in the Sarara Valley for about 15 years, and we've all worked together for over a decade. So we are incredibly honored and proud to have partnered with this community for more than a decade, which has been an incredible journey. So Reteti is sort of first of its kind community conservation movement, and we're kind of standing under this acacia tree, which is where it all happened, where our first little office was built, and then we're really excited to show you to the new visitor center. But before we do that, I'm with some amazing people here. Peter, Lenasalia, who's our manager, and Dorothy, who's one of our first keepers.
Hi.
So yeah, I'll let these guys.
Hi everyone, thanks Katie for your introduction. My name is Peter Lenasalia. I'm the manager at Reteti Elephant Sanctuary. Been born and raised here at Namonyak Wildlife Conservancy. I've lived my entire 30 years here since I was a baby, now to being a junior elder, like father of 2 daughters, and maybe expecting next year another one. So I'm so glad to join the Reteti Elephant Sanctuary as the manager after working with the Sarara Foundation and Cecia Limited, which is our colleges in Sarara Namonyak. We have Sarara Camp, which is our main lodge. We have 3 houses and we have Reteti Health. So over my transition years, I've worked with Sarara, which is the main operation area, moved to 3 houses, and then come to manage Reteti House. And then now I'm happy. This is my 3rd year managing Reteti Elephant Sanctuary, which is where I really joined a very happy and a cohesive bond of people who are working with a common goal of rescuing and rehabilitating and rewilding baby elephant and the other species across northern Kenya. I'm very happy, and I'm jumping in to introduce Dorothy, who really handle a lot of our guest relation and takes care of everyone who comes in here.
Thank you, Peter.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dorothy Lowakutuk. I'm an elephant keeper. I've been here since the beginning of Reteti. So I've been working for the last 8 years. It has been like an amazing job that we are doing.
Thank you. Should we show you guys the new education center?
We're on our way to the visitor center. We're very excited.
Nice. So this is our little office, and yeah, come on down. We were honored. Well, Peter, you can
yeah, we're so happy to really introduce our initial model of conservation, where or even landscaping of keeping the land. If you see around our garden, it actually looks like a Samburu Boma, which is just very exciting. Our all knowledge is actually to inflict the knowledge to the indigenous next generation, so that they can be able to know how a Samburu really like, and how all indigenous trees and everything, and how they're now really integrated to what Reteti and Namnyak is today. And that is why we have everything we have today. Very cool to just introduce. There's a little booth there that's really surrounded. That is when our new education center was really open, and it was a tree that was planted by the president of the Kenya, William Samoei Ruto, and he was the first person really to come and open and make this in operation.
It's got the environment in mind, and we followed a theme that already existed with the stables. And you can see some beautiful imagery by Amy, Vitali, and other amazing photographers. It kind of just explains why Reteti exists and how elephants end up being in this tragic situation, and then what the rescue team do. We've got all the stories of the different elephants here. Lomoniac, this is one of the elephants that you'll meet shortly when we do the milk and the bottles. I'll follow Peter.
Yeah.
And Dorothy.
So,
I'm back.
yeah, it's so exciting. Like the education center is so an inclusion where we're giving all the conservation projects an exhibition center where they can really tell the stories of Northern Kenya, give out the frontier surface where everyone can explain exactly how these elephants and people and everyone really integrate together to really get into this landscape. And just amazingly how Rachel is really getting on with Somali ostrich, which is quite an endangered species. To have them around here, it's one of the big now we're having, because they are really listed as endangered species. And we have a few of them that we really been raising by Solano, which is our female keeper. She's actually been taking care of them for quite some time. And now you can see how massive they have really begun to be like. And just in the next few weeks, we are really thinking about getting them into the wild, because this is the most work that Reteti is doing, is to make sure that these species really goes back into their habitat, and actually getting to add a value to not only the Northern Kenya, but to the entire world. Welcome now, where we are looking to move into a pathway where we have some beautiful common zebras, which are mostly on the highland, but due to the population growth, we have really raised more than 10 of them here. We have a few of the babies here. Some of them have already been rewilded.
We have a nice question about why Reteti is a little bit special from other sanctuaries. This is from Carbondale, Colorado. And she knows we're the only community-led conservancy, but maybe we can expand a little bit on that, what that means on our unique aspect of conservation.
Yeah, I mean, Katie, can you hear that? I'd love to hear. Yeah, okay, great.
So we're here in the kitchen, and what makes Reteti different is that it's community owned and run. And so the indigenous Samburu community, this is on indigenous land, Samburu owned land, and the elephants are raised and rewilded back into this landscape. We've got Leshalota here too, but also we really try and, well, everyone is employed from, Reteti is from this community too. So Peter and Dorothy can expand on how that has impacted the community.
I will actually add on that Reteti is very special in one of the way is that the Samburu people have really lived alongside with wildlife for years and years, like thousands of years. But just over decades, they have never been getting the benefit from wildlife. But after now Reteti have been realized, Reteti really brought in all conservation efforts and, you know, taking care of elephant at the same time, taking care of the community, because out of 110 people employed from the sanctuary, all of them are really from the Samburu people, who are the people who lives with this wildlife in day-to-day living, and they have offered their land to live with this wildlife. The other thing is we have an amazing program where we have milk to market program, which is just one of the big things. Like the 2 liters you see here that the elephant will be fed today is actually we are buying milk from the community, and it's one of the high-paying the community where the money is going directly into the community. Out of that, we have actually
sorts of yummy things
that's really other ingredients there.
delicious other ingredients. They're all natural plant-based ingredients. So elephants have got incredibly sensitive digestive systems, and so we leaned into the cultural knowledge that is so available.
The other thing is through our partnership with the Montessori, we have really realized quite a lot of education system going to the education to the people of the group, like the community is really people getting to learn in a way that today we have the community living here, and then tomorrow they are moving. So with our attended schools, we've really realized the value of really having those kind of models that can really exist within our indigenous knowledge. That's what has been happening. So so that's one of the key thing about Reteti. And about the conservation concept, Reteti have really realized 20 years effort that people have been putting in conservation. Reteti has realized within 8 years, because now it's where everyone now is learning. It's one of the big tools, and that's why we have such a beautiful education center that everyone within the country will come and learn from us.
A couple of questions on this side. One has to do with Languru. Several people are asking, of course, they all want to know what Languru is doing. The other is the number of animals in our care and the types of animals now that we're caring for. And the other is related to the lodges and how the indigenous community benefits from having the Sarara camps there as well.
Well, I'll say first of all, Languru is every morning my toddler wakes up and says Languru, Languru. So we're all wanting to see him. I really hope that happens today. I'm sure it will.
So we are heading for the feeding time. This is a very important time for us because we understand our elephants are living under care of their natural habitat. We're feeding on plants, but again, we supplement them just to ensure their immune system is being raised in a good way, because some of these babies we get when they're very emaciated, very sick, that they're never healthy when they came here. And understanding, ensure that when they go back into the world, they have enough immune system to fight any bacteria and germ that might come across. So this is a bottle of combined of many supplements.
Katie, one of the questions that came up that I think is really interesting that Mike shared when we lost you guys on the walk was just the relationship between the Sarara lodges and, the importance of bringing people there and how that impacts Reteti Elephant Sanctuary. I think it's really neat to share, the conservancy fee on a daily basis. So if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so incredibly important for people to come and see the work that this community are doing so kind of humbly, and they're kind of changing the way we talk about conservation and wildlife, and they really deserve our support. And the best way to do it is to come and see it and stay in one of the community owned camps, and all those fees from the camps and lodges go back into the community. So this is 850,000 acres of pristine wilderness where people and livestock and wildlife coexist. It really is what we believe, and what has been happening here, is the future for conservation. And so to be able to share that with people is so important to us, and we would love for you to come and see it firsthand, to see the work, to meet the people, and to kind of be part of this movement, which is so important. We're so deeply interconnected and intertwined, and would love for you to come here and feel that.
Maybe through the visiting our lodges, the Sarara tree houses and Reteti house, the community conservancy, we have Nalawon and Blai West, they've actually realized their operation budget, like 70% from the conservation fee, because every guest that visits the community, there is always a share like 60% that goes to the community. And out of this 60%, the community really uses it for the rangers operation, who are the people who are really taking care of the beautiful environment. They can be able to take care of their kids to schools and take care of the bursaries and all this. So coming to this landscape is just a big bonus to the community and to everyone, because it really, it's where we've seen a model of tourism sponsoring conservation. And this is the conservation is the next step that we have for everyone, like in the next life. Like maybe our generation may not be there tomorrow, but through these lodges, we are really seeing the future of this wildlife, because we've seen some other incidences that coming, that endemic, like the corona time, and this is where everyone really become really imaginable in terms of donation and all that. But through the lodges and all that, the community sustainability has been there. So 2020 was a big tragic to everyone, but for us here in Namnyak, we were a bit blessed because of what we had around. So we're really happy to have people coming to visit us, and it's always good to have first-hand information, coming, see people, see wildlife, see the sanctuary. I think it's an entire ecosystem of the entire country is around Namnyak. It's a beautiful place for people to see, having the hikes, walks, seeing the culture. All this has been really integrated to bring, to maintain what has been there, because the Samburu culture has been really a big sponsor to conservation for years, because we're the only people who have really been living wildlife for years and years. And with this model now, what we are working together as Reteti, Sarara Foundation, is to make sure that the model really move forward and leave it to the next generation. It's a hope thing that it might happen, it might not happen, but we are doing it as far as we are there, and that is who we are as Reteti, that's who we are as Sarara Foundation, to make sure that this is moving to the next generation.
It's wonderful, Peter.
Namanyak has really sort of got a blueprint which now can be shared across North Kenya, but across the world. So it's
Katie, Peter, there's a question, a number of people asking about the rewilding and whether Lunguru will actually make it into the wild as well, and just that circle of life, if you will, that whole story of releasing.
Yeah, well, Dorothy, I'm just going to span around because there are all the other keepers there as well.
Hello.
All waiting. But all of the elephants here have got a traumatic story to tell. They've all been through an awful lot, but Longuro, you can really see his trauma, missing half of his trunk, or a third of his, 2/3 of his trunk. But he has got the most incredible spirit, as all of them do, and nothing really seems to hold Longuru back. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for him. Do you guys feel the same, going back into the wild?
We feel that will be the best way for Longuru to go back into the wild, because even now here is not like having any special trait more than others. He's just feeding well, he's adapting. And the most incredible part of elephants, they're always kind for each other. They can help Longuro to support him when, like during dry season, to cut on plants and they leave for him to graze on. And again, we are seeing Longuro adapting in a way that if they're going for the mud bath, he used to be shy, but now like he can just go at the center so that he can receive showers from each one of them.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is to release him and give him like happy life there, because that is where they belong, and that is the best way.
Here they come.
Save him. And I don't
know.
They're coming.
Who's first?
Mara.
Oh, always. Mara. Talk to us about Garamara. Garamara is the most loving and yeah, she really is full of love for everyone. It's like grumbling. Who's this now?
Nashapa.
Nashapa. Who have you got here, David? Nina? Gutuk. Yeah. Who's this?
This is me. Yeah. So each one of them has a name according to where they're coming from.
So that was the first batch of elephants coming to get their milk. They come in batches of 10 or so, and the others will be coming shortly. Who's this, Dorothy?
This is Melgis. He's one of the first babies from this group who came when she was 1 week old. She fell into the well, and her amazing journey, she has always been very humble and very loving and caring to the rest of the babies that we have around. When we have a new one, she always welcome them to the family, that is what makes elephants very special in the landscape.
Ooh, someone's getting chased. All the elephants have a different character.
She's very playful.
This is sick. Here come the others. Who are you, Ninani?
Sick.
Katie, how many times a day are they fed?
So these elephants are getting fed a bottle every 3 hours.
Wow.
Through the day and night. Hello. This Dorothy?
Now.
So all of them are named after the area that they're from. Some can hold the bottle on their own. Very impressive. They're independent.
Katie, we're hearing some beautiful songs. Have you explained the singing?
This is one of the sneakers that she like coming for the second time. So she can wipe out and she goes for the second time. Tricky. So we ensure that we know that and tell them apart. Otherwise, might do one first, and the other one.
Longuro. Sorry about that. We're going to go and see Longuro.
Oh, the superstar.
This is Lomagnac, who we met at came from. This is Longuro.
It's a special Longuro that everyone is thinking of him. You can see how brilliant he is. He's doing very okay. He's adapting.
Got
And he's
impressive tusks.
Yeah.
Look at his task. He's very strong and the trunk is a bit grown. It was like a nose when he arrived. So we are seeing a lot of positive way of this guy, because watching him every day is like watching a movie, like changing of things, how he do things is like marvel. You can't imagine this guy taking his part, and he's very strong. Sometimes even he can push around Reteti is the biggest of this group. So that is how you can tell that he's fine and he's like know himself, and he's very strong. Just like any other disabled person that can help out there. And he has friends. Look at this guy, Seth. He's one of the best friends of Longuro. Who are you? This is Lodosoit. All of them always come up to check on him and play with him every now and then to ensure that he also see like he's just like any like has all part of his body and he's just like them, and he has nothing to worry about. We always have brothers who will check on him whenever he need a help.
Here we go. This is Lomonyak. Lomonyak has also got the most amazing story. He was tumbled down the Waso Niro River and picked up a few kilometers by some guests that noticed him in the river. Some Samburu bravely waded into the river to pull him out, and he was only just a few weeks old. Most of these elephants here were only between 3, 4, 5 weeks old, and they are really challenging at that age. They are really vulnerable and very difficult to raise. But the keepers here have just sort of quietly been getting on with something miraculous, which is raising these really, really notoriously difficult animals, and on their own formula that they have come up with based on what the land and what the community has in abundance. So yeah, they're strong and healthy because of this community and because of this landscape.
Mamoy.
Hello, Mamoy. These posts are very useful rubbing posts, but they help with the keepers, as you can imagine, and as you just saw, a barrage of elephants heading towards you at full tilt for milk can be intimidating. There are how many elephants here now, Peter? 35 elephants to feed every 3 hours throughout the day and the night.
And so does the team, obviously they work night shifts as well to facilitate these nighttime feedings?
Yeah, so
Wow.
there'll be a changeover just now. It's 6 o'clock now. So the day team will be clocking off and the night team will just about start. Yeah. They're showing off their tusks. All very playful. All very content after a long day of exploring this amazing wilderness. So they bump into wild elephants, other wild animals in this unfenced community landscape.
Katie, I have to say that the reception or service wasn't amazing at the visitor center, but it's perfect now and so amazing.
The other thing, I mean, I guess the orphans that were recently rewilded in June are all doing really well. They are out. They've been with wild elephants on and off. They were with a wild bull yesterday. For the last 2 days, they've been with a wild bull, which has been amazing. But if you can imagine those kind of grumbles and that elephant communication happens for a very long distance. So they're a sort of story that we haven't spoken about that Dorothy was telling us about the other day was it Metumi?
Yes.
Who recently who's part of the recently rewilded herd of elephants, walked back to the exact location where her mum, where she was last with her mum. And they spent a few days there. They actually met up with wild elephants and was ahead of.
I've been there for almost 1 week within the location where she was the last time with her mom when she was 7 months old. And exactly 7 years she worked there with the team that was released with. And went stay with there for 1 week, and they worked together with the wild elephants group that they met there for almost 2 weeks together. So she was very protected with that, even like she was just bit into the group, like fully into the group, and nobody among the wild elephants was allowing her to get out. And that is one of the ways that we believe our elephants have chances of going back to their original families. And that is at least the most, the good way that Reteti has made to ensure they're releasing these animals in an open landscape.
Yeah, I mean, their chances of meeting up with their family are pretty high. And so it was an incredible thing to see this elephant go back to the exact location that he remembers being at last with his mum. Hello.
What is the best time of year to visit is one of the kind of questions that we have.
Well, you know, it's throughout the year there's seasons, 2 seasons, the rainy season and the dry season. We have 2 rains, and we generally close the camps for those rains. And then sort of Christmas time now, we reopen December, January, February, March. We close April, May, and then August, June through to August. Yeah, September, October. Yeah, I would say those summer months are also really incredible. It's usually a little bit drier, and lots of wildlife congregates in the valley when it's drier, because this area is renowned for some valleys where there's water which doesn't dry up. So a lot of wildlife and a lot of people sort of come in towards this valley.
Katie, some
amazing.
questions regard the way in which funds support, if somebody's adopting an elephant, how they support that specific elephant, or do they support the overall mission of Reteti? And
yeah, so I caught a little bit of that, but there's obviously adoptions where you can adopt an individual elephant, like Longuro, who else? Yeah.
Oh, those were in the
Yeah, and that goes
Melfi's, Sarah, Naisimari.
and how many keepers do we have right now, Dorothy?
How many keepers have
We have 110 keepers now working at Reteti. That's both for the day shift and the night shift. And one of the incredible ways that's just Katie has been explaining how you can support Reteti is actually adopt an elephant, where we have about 20 elephants on our adoption program now, because Reteti began as a small team. It's now that's when it's really beginning to really work on to be a bigger team. So we're still working to make sure that all our 60+ elephants that we've raised will be on our adoption program. So it's something that Reteti is still working on. We also have buying a bottle to an elephant and maybe supporting a keeper who are really the incredible people who are really taking care of these elephants. So generally, we have quite a number of ways that you can help our elephants and the keepers by just visiting our website, and you can see various modes of how you can really support the elephants and the keepers and the community in general, Reteti Elephant Sanctuary.
Oh, thank you, Peter. Another question is, can people who've taken screenshots today share this on social media, or can they share the webinar?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Who's this, Dorothy?
The Kuruki.
Lekuruki showing Dorothy inspecting your teeth. Very impressive.
Now, would there ever be a problem of over?
A lot of love. A lot of love.
Katie, a question about what a beautiful picture. That is so lovely. Question about with our population of elephants, is there a chance of overpopulation of elephants?
No, this is such a enormous landscape, and elephant families have really suffered in the last few years. We've just come out of a 5-year drought, and that was devastating for elephant families across North Kenya. So thankfully, the idea of overpopulation is not an issue here in North Kenya, but also that kind of makes why we talk about kind of having an open landscape of corridors and safe areas for elephants. They need a lot of space.
A number of questions about the songs that were sung earlier, and if they are specific to each elephant, or what is the meaning of the songs?
Because those are the songs that Samburu people normally sing to their domestic animals when they are fetching water in wells, and it is sounds, and they go straightening our animals to come back home.
There's a lot of singing in the Samburu culture, a lot of important singing to sing to their elephants how much they love them.
We have a lot of Q&A questions that we didn't get to today. We've recorded them all, so we'll be following up with everyone with all of the answers, because I think they're great questions for us to get back to you and everyone on. So don't worry, we will answer them in the next week or so. And I think this was, last year we did a very small version of this. We were just testing out the internet, and this year we really wanted to go big and invite all of our donors. And so, like, as a community-owned sanctuary, to then invite our global community who supports that community-owned sanctuary is just amazing, right before the holidays and closing out this year strong.
There's a little image I have here of the president visiting, and if I can find that right here, if people can see that, these are photographs that were uploaded by Peter and his team. This is the president's visit, and it was an incredible moment for Reteti to be nationally recognized in Kenya by the Kenyan president and his complete entourage. The visitor center is so meaningful to sharing the unique story of the indigenous-led conservancy, really the only one of its kind in Africa. And the education center means that every person who comes to visit, including the community members themselves, receive the detailed story of why the community-led model works and why this really is a model for the world. So it's a proud moment where we could share this new facility and its mission with you as we expand what's happening with Reteti.
Cool. Incredibly grateful for you guys joining us today. We're just here with the Ellies too, who are just about to quieten down for their evening. But yeah, we honestly wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your incredible support. So thank you for being on this journey with us. And thank you for giving these guys their second chance, because yeah, they are such important keystone species for this amazing and important landscape. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us, and elephants and the community, to raise these amazing creatures and to take care of the Samburu community. And thanks for being part of the journey. And we actually welcome everyone who really to be part of our journey to make sure that this is a big success. We really lack words to say thank you, but we really appreciate your presence. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Peter.
Thank
Thank you,
all.
Katie. Thank you, Dorothy.